What's up, friends? It is the Doctor, Dr. Remy LeBeau, and I'm coming at you from the X Layer again, bringing you a cure to all your sicknesses associated with just not seeing enough amazing X-Men statues. I know it can be rough, and that's why I wound up getting more than 60 of them, and probably will wind up getting more of them. It's just the way it goes when you're trying to cure an illness, something that's chronic, something that requires a regular treatment. It's just the way it goes. Today's treatment, cure, however you want to regard it, is this very cool statue of Mr. Hank McCoy, the Beast, as produced by Bowen Designs, sculpted by Eric Sosa, very talented sculptor. You've seen other pieces that Mr. Sosa has done in my collection, specifically the Kotobukiya Gambit statue that he actually sculpted, and he sculpted the Bowen Deadpool statue as well, which I don't have, and all the Kotobukiya Danger Room session statues. I'm going to be featuring the Colossus statue at some point in the future, also sculpted by him. Have it in my collection, love it. And he also did a Cyclops recently in the 90s Jim Lee era design, which is a very nice statue as well. I don't have that one, but what Mr. Sosa seems to be doing is, or at least somewhat doing, is basing his sculpts for particular X-Men on designs that Jim Lee did. So you can see here is the cover with Beast for X-Men number 1, Volume 2, X-Men Volume 2 number 1 from the 90s, drawn by Jim Lee, written by Chris Claremont. Here's the drawing, here's the statue, right? I mean, you can see that it was like a huge inspiration for it. There they are, side by each. Side by each is just a funny thing my friends and I say. So it's like it's a great endeavor. It's a great sort of approach that he takes, because there's a lot of Jim Lee fans out there. I'm definitely one of them. I'm definitely one of the Jim Lee fans, and I really do appreciate the fact that he has done this, has tried to create sort of these three-dimensional representations of of Hank McCoy as well as other X-Men characters inspired by Jim Lee designs. Thank you, Mr. Sosa, for doing that. All right, let's check out some info on this statue. There were 1,200 of these produced. This is number 209. This is the Beast Modern, produced in 2007, so that's 6 years ago, and sculpted by Eric Sosa, as I said. There was actually a variant of this version made, and it has him on a different base, like a rocky base, and his face is actually different as well. It's more of like the design you would have seen of Beast in X Factor, in his early X Factor appearances in this design, as well as in the Avengers. He was actually an Avenger for a while, and many people consider that sort of the Avengers version of this statue. I like that statue. I actually haven't seen it in person, and I never really considered getting it because of the whole Avengers thing. But from what I've seen, I like it, and I appreciate that it exists and that other people appreciate it, and congrats to those that have it. It's a great statue. As I've mentioned before, and as some of the posts that I've posted on my blog reflect, there's a new set of Hank McCoy statues coming out. There's actually 3. 2 already have been put up for sale. One of them is about to be released maybe in the next month. Right now it's May of 2013. I'm pretty sure it's coming out next month. It's going to be the original costume, the original 5 X-Men version of Hank McCoy before he turned into the blue hairy beast. In his original costume, it's going to be in a large X base, and he's kind of like, he's on it, and there's no sort of there's no lift. It's just kind of him on the base. It's sculpted by the Kucherag brothers. It's looking to be a very impressive piece. I'm very excited about that one. Can't wait to get it. Looking forward to that one highly. And then, of course, there's an X Factor version in which he's going to have a costume that's going to be brown and yellow, and it's going to be part of the X Factor set. And that one's looking to be exciting as well. They're all the same statue, but they're slightly different. based on costume, and I think slight positioning differences as well. But I won't be clear on that until I actually get the statue. And the third version hasn't even been put up for sale yet, and it's going to be Beast in his red and blue costume, which reflects a very early era, which reflects actually the second design of the character after the original costume. I guess in the comics, Gene created new costumes for all the X-Men, the five original X-Men, and that was his design. So that one's supposedly coming out, but we haven't seen, hasn't been put up for sale yet. So stay tuned for that one, folks. Now, but for Jim Lee fans and 90s era fans, this is the definitive Beast. 90s era also reflecting the 90s cartoon. This is the Beast that we saw in that cartoon. And then I think because of the cartoon and because that was sort of like the main introduction to the general public of Hank McCoy as Beast in this form, he was then represented in a very similar fashion in X3 by Frazier, and also in X-Men First Class, which was a better representation, I think, um, as a younger Beast. But you actually see him turn into the blue furry Beast in that one, which I think was very cool. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be in X-Men Days of Future Past as well. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing Beast in this beautiful form once again on the big screen in cinematic majesty. I don't know if that made sense. Anyway, let's talk about this pretty, very, very cool statue. Of course, starting at the bottom, it's got the standard X base, which always is a great touch, to include in these statues. It's a great unifying element for the entire X-Men line that Bowen Designs produces. So I'm really happy that they're consistent, even when they're sort of trying to play with the form and create something slightly different, like they did here with like this sort of like mechanical sort of thing that like a mechanical post that is actually very nicely designed, has super great amount of details, and is intended to lift him, higher and kind of give him more presence. Even doing that, like they still maintain the original base, which is nice. And then this mechanical thing, it kind of, maybe it captures like some of the technology in the Danger Room or somewhere in the X Mansion, but it's like a really nice touch, and it's a really great idea. Whoever came up with it, maybe it was Eric Sosa. Um, they obviously saw it through to the end with much care and much creativity. It wasn't just let's put a post there so he can like be elevated and be kind of in this acrobatic sort of state. It in and of itself is a work of art. It's like it's a super interesting thing that is like a modern sort of creation that I love it, and just adds a lot to the statue. But obviously, what's most important about the statue is Mr. Hank McCoy in his Blue Beast state, and I think it was done really well. Again, like let's take a look at the drawing from Jim Lee. Here it is. Like I mean, I think he might have actually done a better job than Jim Lee in the face and everything. And that's saying a lot because I think Jim Lee is the best artist, the best X-Men artist ever to have existed. Of course, the best artist to ever have been in comics is Todd McFarlane, but that's a whole other video, and that's probably a whole other blog. Um, uh, but just great, man. Like Eric Sosa took so much time to make this a really impressive statue. I mean, he took a two-dimensional representation of the character and just brought it to life in such an incredible way. I've taken photos of him from a variety of angles, and there was much care put into not just like capturing the pose, but like in every detail within the pose. Creating a three-dimensional statue, you got to get every part right, even the parts that aren't completely easily visible. And he did not disappoint. Like some of the great sort of features of the statue, of course, I said are the face. The face is fantastic. It looks great. It's got an open mouth. The teeth are sculpted in a fantastic way, and then inside the mouth is actually kind of glossy, just showing kind of like some like saliva in there, which is great. Um, and the hair around the head and just on the face and the ears and the eyes and the eyebrows, everything fantastic. Just great job there. But beyond that, like the hands and the feet are just so impressive. Like there was so much care put into just making sure that his beast like, qualities, the characteristics that define him as beast in this form just are so meticulously sculpted and represented so that we are just given a feast for the eyes, as X-Men fans. Like we see him from every angle as he should be in this form, as he should be in this design. Like the feet, the hands, the arms, just all the hair. He's muscular. The anatomy's correct, but he's got the hair all over him. On top of that anatomy, on top of that musculature, and much care, as you'll see in the close-ups, as you can see here, was put into making sure that he was represented exactly as he should be, which is great. And then of course he's got the granny panty superhero underwears, which is great, and he's got the yellow belt with the X that you can kind of see here, but you can see better in the photos that I posted on my blog post. Um, just spectacular. It's a very dynamic pose. Like he could have easily just been sort of just chilling, like standing on some base or whatever, but Eric Sosa decided to do something very dynamic with it, and that just amplified the challenge, of just capturing this character by putting him in such a dynamic pose. So, my hat goes off to Mr. Sosa and Biowen Designs for sponsoring his work and supporting him in creating this very impressive statue. It works really great, as I said. I've got him in the '90s display with Rogue, Professor X, Kotobukiya Gambit, Cyclops, Psylocke, and I think that's it. I know Brown costume Wolverine in his action pose, unmasked. Um, they all work really great together. He works really great in that display. I'll eventually post a snapshot of that display on my blog if any of you are interested in seeing the entire display. It's it's the only statue that exists of Beast in this form. Sideshow Collectibles created a comiquette of Beast, which I actually like a lot. The His Beast form is the Cat Beast form, which is sort of his representation. I'm pretty sure in Astonishing X-Men. Actually, you can't see it, but the artwork for Astonishing X-Men #1 is on my wall right behind him. But um, so Grant Morrison in New X-Men introduced the idea of the secondary mutation, and what resulted from that was Emma Frost turning into Diamond Emma Frost. So she had her telepathic powers before solely, and then she had her second mutation, which allowed her to turn into like this diamond form. Beast had a second mutation that turned him into like the Cat Beast. Not the favorite design of X fans, not my favorite design of Beast. Finally, in all new X-Men, he actually mutated further, and he looks more Beast-like now, and I actually like that design a lot. I actually like the new design a lot. I might actually like it better than this design. I know that's somewhat controversial, but I'm a controversial guy. Deal with it, folks. Deal with it. Um, I'm not controversial at all. Uh, but the comiquette that Sideshow did, although it is the Cat Beast, it's very cool. Like it's got him like with a bunch of books all over the place, like physics books and old math books, and it's there's a lot of it that I really like, and it's one of those statues that I really considered getting. Actually, I had it on order, but I decided to not get it because I was ordering too much stuff, and then it's super difficult to display 1/4 scale statues. Like you need a lot of room for that, and I just don't have that kind of room. So it's actually one of those statues that I think I might end up getting in the future because I think they did such a great job with it, and there's so much detail to it. And Beast is a great character. He's one of the original 5 X-Men, and he looks great. Um, in this form, and in that statue overall looks great. And there aren't enough statues of Hank. I mean, now with the three coming out from Bowens, there's going to be more than there were, and it's going to satisfy a lot of our needs to have more beast statues. So yay for that, totally yay. Um, but the more beast statues, the better, especially in 1/4 scale statue. I'll always take a 1/4 scale statue that's like done really well, even though they're hard to display. Like if if somebody were to make a 1/4 scale statue of this version of Beast, I would get it with this particular look, in the same detail, in the same quality, in the same with the same level of attention paid to it. I would get it. Um, I would figure out how to display it immediately, rather than wait till the future, like for the comic cat that exists in his Cat Beast form, where because it's not my favorite form for him, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to not sort of make the sort of sacrifices I need to, as far as making room for him, etc. Um, so somebody make a comic kit of Beast, please, in this form, and I'll get them. But again, I'm super excited about the forthcoming statues of beasts that are being released by Bone Design. So stay tuned for those. I will make sure as soon as I get them to post photos and video. I think they will warrant all sorts of attention, because I'm going to be super giddy, and it's almost going to be embarrassing how giddy I'll be. All right, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed, again, my blog post. My blog is X-Men Statues of Future Past.blogspot.com. My YouTube channel is Dr. Remy LeBeau's X-Lair. And as always, X in the box, because ain't nobody checking me. I'll catch you all very soon, and take care of yourselves. I look forward to providing you with so many more statue videos. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Bye-bye for now.